Dave and I were brought in to meet with Pat Weaver.
Mm-hmm.
Pat Weaver had decided he was going to put television on in the morning. And up to that time, there was no daytime television. There was no morning television. And Pat said it'll be successful. And everybody said no. Women are busy getting their kids ready for school. They're doing their ironing. They're not going to watch television. He said they will. So he built this concept. And he was exactly right. He was right about a lot of things. But they were looking for someone to host it. And the agents had been bringing snappy patter guys, worn out movie stars, God knows what all. And Pat said, I want to see this guy in Chicago. So they brought Dave and I in to talk to Pat about this big assignment. We had an agent at that time. Dave and I had the same agent, a guy named Biggie Levin, wonderful character. And Biggie had some connection with business association in the past with Pat Weaver. So he called Pat and said, I know you're interested in Garrower, you're considering him. I handle him, let me bring him in and have you meet him, and it'll save you a trip coming out here. So it was arranged that Dave and I would go into New York to listen to this concept and see what suggestions we could make on it. So we're ushered into Pat's office, which was at the top of Rockefeller Center, overlooking all of New York and the skating rink, and wow, I couldn't believe it, and there was Pat, tall, handsome guy, really an imposing guy in those days, slender, and graceful, and well-tailored. And I'm just sitting with my eyes bugging open. And there was a guy named Buck Prince, and another chap whose name I don't remember. And Buck was an old newspaper man. And Pat said, I'm looking for a man to be the communicator of this program I'm considering developing for NBC. It'll be called the Today Show. There'll be a huge floor with all the cameras, and the weather will be coming in on special lines in this corner, and the news from Shanghai will be here, and Hong Kong here. The European news will be coming in, and the communicator will be in the center of all this. And he'll move here and bring us this, and he'll go over here, and there'll be a big glass dome, and the sunlight will pour down on this, and he goes on, and I'm sitting there thinking, wow, what a concept. I want a piece of this somehow, anyhow. And he goes on, and everybody said, give it some thought, shake hands, hope we can work together, the usual bull. And we're walking down the hallway, and I'm walking with Buck Prince, this old-time newspaper guy. And I said, Buck, this concept is fabulous, but I missed that part, that big studio with the sunlight and the glass and all this. Where is this program going to come from? And Buck says, well, to begin with, we have to share a studio with Howdy Doody. Well, at the time, there was no other studio space available for this big program. Well, it was developed by a lot of Mort Werner that I mentioned before, and Buck and other people fed in, and it began to take shape. But pretty soon it was time for the show to start, and they still didn't have a studio. So NBC took over the Johnny Victor Theater, which was right across the street from Rockefeller Center on 49th Street, and it was a showroom where RCA displayed its new inventions, television and radio and all that stuff. And that one wall was all glass looking out on the street. And the engineers say you can't do a show here because of sunlight They worked it out, and it got done there. And it was probably, as much as anything else, the thing that made the show successful. Because people were real live people were walking back and forth and waving at Dave, and Dave was waving back. Harry Truman would come by in the morning with two guys walking with him, two bodyguards. It was wonderful. And the program became hugely successful.